We're going to have a look at a new envelope generator. This is a prototype from PM Foundations. It's called the State Machine. It's an envelope generator with gravy. So I'm going to start with the oscilloscope just to show you some of the curves. And we're going to start with exponential curves. This has linear exponential choices. You can have gate or trigger inputs. There is a gate and a trigger input, so you can re-trigger. You can use it as an LFO, which I'll show you in a moment. And it has CV inputs for all 4 stages. But the gravy, besides all of that, is the various outputs that are cued at various times within the stages, and we'll show that in a few minutes. So let's start with the scope, just to show you some of the curves. These are the exponential curves. So you can see some of those. Let's just play around with it so you can have a fast look. So what you'd expect. Notice the stages are curved, so if we hit the linear, they're going to become angular. So they're straight instead. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cue just to show you that as well, I'm going to cue the LFO. So that's as an LFO. There's exponential, so you can see now they're curved. What's kind of neat about using it as LFO and with the CV inputs for the stages, you can put something else into the stages and you can change the curves randomly. You can do a lot of very interesting things with it as an LFO. So that's the attack. That's in the sustain. And then that one is in release. Yeah, that was kind of fun. Let's just play with that internal LFO a bit. So that's as an LFO. So that, let's unhook that, is what we have as a looping envelope generator. Let's have a listen to some of what you can actually do with the extra outputs that we talked about. So I left the camera pointed to the side a little bit so we can see how the various event output lights light up. So this is an envelope generator, but there are quite a few options for queuing other envelopes or other events from the state machine. We have a start of attack, we have an end of attack, we have a pulse at the end of the attack, we have a start of decay, end of decay, and a pulse at the end of decay. We have basically a sustain, so once we're into sustain, that light comes on. Beginning of release, end of release pulse. And then the standard outputs you would expect. There's the CV out there, main CV out. There's gates in, trigger, re-trigger in, and the 4 inputs for the control voltages. So what's interesting about this is I've hooked up 3 additional VCOs. One is so that I can have vibrato come in, and that's cued from the end of it. Let's see where we have that again. So we'll have a look. So you'll be able to give a listen to how this all works. So let's bring out the one with the vibrato. So you can hear the vibrato come in. The second additional oscillator brings in a harmonic. So that's another filter as well. And that you'll see comes on once we hit sustain. Not the most musical demo, but I just wanted you to hear what it would sound like if you used all of these. You're hearing a little bit of harmony in there because of the way the other envelope generators are set. It's a A143-2 quad ADSR. So let's bring in the last one. So the last one comes in right on the attack. And we can change that easily enough. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that one down at the release. And when I lift my finger off the note, you can hear it come in. So that's it. Basically a quick demo of the new PM Foundation's state machine extended envelope generator. This was a prototype. It works more or less the same as the final version will be. I think we're pretty close.